your book is in fact a fictionalized version of the sinking of the SS Mendi, but it is based on very real facts as told by survivors of what happened.
Yes, it is based on, it is not fictional, it is a reenactment, a reimagining of what happened when the Mendi sank in February 1917. But it is based on research. I had to go to France. I visited the graveyards and I consulted a lot of the archives that are sitting over there in France, but also our archive in Simonstown in Cape Town. So it's based primarily on that, because even the survivors who would have served during the First World War were dead by the time I started writing the book. But it is fictional, well, a reimagining.
Yeah. So why the story of the SS Mendi?
It's a story that hasn't been captured in our history books. It's been passed from generation to generation by word of mouth. So I believed that the acknowledgement of the men who had served in the First World War in Europe and elsewhere hadn't been properly captured, hence the book. The story of the Mendi is one of those injustices that were committed 2 times. The fact that our men went over there, they served, and those who survived and came back home did not get official acknowledgement, not even a medal. That was the tragedy. The second tragedy is, of course, that the story was never captured in our history books. It was one of those hidden pockets of our history. So I felt duty-bound as an author and a journalist to unearth this story and put it out there in the public domain.
I feel like if it wasn't for your book and for various other government initiatives around commemorating the centenary last year, that this story would have gone unknown, not only here, but in the UK as well.
Yes, it's very sad. But now the return of the bell to South Africa where it belongs gives us the opportunity, or rather the justification, to once again engage on the story of the Mendi. A lot of South Africans are not familiar with it, and we can't blame them because it's never been told. But now we are being given the opportunity to explore it again, and I'm aware that 3 other books have since been published. So 4 books have been published since last year. So it shows you the interest. The publishers are interested, and the readers are also interested, because this book has been turned into a stage play which was performed in Southampton last month. So the story of the Mendi is gaining traction, and this, the return of the bell to South Africa, is going to take, well, hopefully going to take this narrative to another level.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Fred, before we let you go, the state capture inquiry, I'm told, has just now begun. But before we go there live, for our viewers who, and I'm sure there are many of them, I'm among them, who don't know much about the story of the SS Mendi, just take us through what led to that tragedy that ultimately resulted in that massive loss of life.
The ship had traveled for a month from Cape Town to the UK, where it dropped off gold bullion, which was going to finance the war effort, because Britain, which was a major ally in the fight, needed money. So obviously we were still part of the larger Commonwealth, or the larger British Empire. So they came to fetch gold from South Africa. They dropped it off in the UK to finance the war. Now, as the ship was crossing the English Channel from the UK to France, which was the theater of war, our ship collided with another commercial vehicle at 5 o'clock in the morning on the 21st of February 1917. That ship which hit our ship was called the SS Dero. It was a commercial vessel. It was traveling at high speed, and it failed to observe all the proper regulations, aviation, navigation, aviation, and rules, whereby it was supposed to sound an alarm at regular intervals, which it failed to do. And they hadn't put on their lights. Remember, it's 5 o'clock in the morning in winter, so it's very dark.
Pitch dark, yeah.
And also it's very foggy. You remember, it's winter. So our ship couldn't see what was happening. And the other ship, the SS Daro, was much bigger, and traveling at a higher velocity than our ship. So it hit our ship, and our ship went down. Within 35 minutes, our ship was down, had sunk, taking the lives of 646 men. Of course, there were survivors. So the book that I have written is told from the perspective of one of the survivors. So it's that kind of drama, a tragedy that was a surprise, because these men were almost there in Le Havre in France, but they never got to actually engage in battle.
Heartbreaking story. Well, if you want to know more about the SS Mendi and what unfolded in the English Channel, get Fred Khumalo's book, Dancing the Death Drill. It is the story of the SS Mendi. And of course, Theresa May will today hand over the SS Mendi Bell as part of her visit to the country. This is the book, Dancing the Death Drill, by journalist and author Fred Khumalo.